Charlie Intel tweeted about this 2 days ago, and they said, it seems that some cheats in Warzone have become so advanced that they can turn themselves off when Ricochet starts investigating the cheat and then re-enabling them afterward once Ricochet is done investigating the cheat. Activision devs do not play their own game.
3,000 devs can't figure out how to add a reconnect feature to a AAA title, I guess. I don't know.
Because Infinity Ward doesn't tell their consumers anything.
Maybe that'll take some of the sweats away from Shoot House.
You can cope about that, for sure.
Thanks for tweeting, at least. Thanks for doing more than Infinity Ward has done. They just keep tweeting about the soccer bundles in the store.
Things that are bad. We've got a couple words. Why don't you kick it off, Tanner? Jake can stop.
This is going to be a longer section than the first part you guys heard.
Change it, obviously, of course. Chris, that would be a 10, but you also gave us $200 this month, so we'll let it slide. So it costs 200 United States dollars to while in the comments like that and not get a 10 and not catch a 10. Excuse me. We are live, boys and girls. Welcome to the Dropshot Call of Duty podcast, episode number 405. My name is Casey, also known as Razinon. Today, I'm joined by Tanner and his temperamental overlay, which has decided not to work once again.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
For no discernible reason, by the way.
Yep, just log on and it just doesn't work.
Sometimes it just works and sometimes it doesn't. Haven't changed the setting.
It's good now.
In 40 years. Is it really?
Yeah. It was somehow hidden. I don't know why. Oh. But that's never been the problem before. I don't know how that got hidden, but whatever. It's good now. Must have accidentally hit it or something.
Well, anyway, welcome to the show. Today, we have... I mean, we're going to call it an episode, but it's not really. It's a quick download. Our entire episode today might be able to fit into one singular TikTok, were it not for the announcements that we're going to do.
Well,
not much to talk about today. And not, a little upset about these announcements. So we do have a couple quick things to get into, but this is going to be a very short episode because this is going to be an Infinity Ward episode, basically. Not much has happened this week. In terms of the actual game. There are a couple of news items to go over. And then there's one little thing that got added to the game, I guess, which we'll get into. But besides that, not much going on. So before we get into that, we do have a couple quick announcements. We did not get any new patrons, and that really pisses me off. Wow. It really pisses me off. Yeah.
That's crazy considering we've had like 2 people in Discord mention like, oh wow, all the episodes like public and bonus have been total bangers lately.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we get nothing for it. So cringe.
Super cringe. And the latest Patreon episodes we've done, which we'll get into in a second, have been absolute bangers as well. So we did get, however, one upgrader. I think he joined and then immediately upgraded, by the way. So maybe this is one new patron. Gabriel V has joined the Patreon and then insta upgraded to platinum from gold. W Gabriel V, thank you, buddy. Very kind of you. We appreciate it. Welcome aboard. And we hope you're enjoying the content. And that's probably why you upgraded. And we appreciate you. And only you this week, in fact.
Nobody else, yeah.
But thank you very much, Gabe. Welcome aboard, buddy. Join the Discord and link your Discord and Patreon accounts, by the way, brother. Come step into the alley, the Patron Alley, an exclusive Discord channel just for you. And since you're platinum, you can ask us Q&A questions for the patron-only Q&A episodes.
Drop us a question, man.
Do a question. We'll be sure to probably skip it unless it's good. So anyways, thank you very much, brother. Patreon.com/the Dropshot. Ad-free episodes, early access episodes, and also, don't forget, bonus episodes. And speaking of which,
little uncensored
we've done
too.
The last of our bonus episodes for the month of February for a total of 5. And we've done 2 since we last recorded an episode. These are all live on Patreon right now, by the way. And the latest one we did was for all of our patrons, every tier. And it was an Urzikstan ranked Warzone prepisode. And I really enjoyed that episode, actually. Basically, what we did was talk about, first of all, what we expect ranked big map to look like when it comes out, because we've had ranked big map Warzone before, once, on Al Mazrah during MDub 2. And that was a very different map on a very different game, obviously. And since then, we have not had ranked Warzone on big map. But as Activision has claimed, and I believe them, we will be getting big map Warzone on Urzikstan this year, probably by Season 3 Reloaded or sooner. And so, in light of that, Tanner and I did a little bonus ep on, again, what we can expect that to probably look like in terms of format, rules, bans, etc., events, restrictions, all that kind of stuff. And then in light of that, what you should be preparing to do differently on ranked Urzikstan versus pubs Urzikstan. And you might think that you would play ranked pretty much the same as you play pubs Urzikstan. But I don't agree at all. And we went into all the details on why in that episode and what things you can expect to change. Like, for example, I don't think your perk setup's probably going to be the same in ranked versus pubs. Almost certainly. I don't think the weapons you use or the attachments you use are going to be the same. And your playstyle as well, to some degree, I don't think is going to be the same. And we went into all the details on all of that, and I thought it was insanely productive. It was very brainstorm-like, actually, especially when we got into the perks. Like, what perks are going to be good in ranked, and how's that different than, like, pubs or Urzikstan? It was a really, really fun episode. I really enjoyed it. That went live this morning for all of our patrons. So Gabriel and all of our other patrons can go listen to that whenever the heck they want. And we both very much enjoyed that. And then also for our Damascus patrons, we did our behind the scenes for this month as well. And that was very different than usual. That one had a lot more personal stuff in it than we probably have ever had in a behind the scenes episode.
Yeah, for a while.
So TLDR, I suffered a home invasion last week.
I was the invader.
My entire family was killed, sadly. So
you get the house though now.
That's true. I luckily I'm on the title of this home.
Roommates croaked.
W roommates being gone. And I whinged about that a lot, but I'm over it now.
Yeah, you did a lot of crying on that episode, but we got through it.
Yeah, there's a lot of crying.
If you want to hear Raz cry, go listen to that episode for sure. Become Damascus and listen to that, because God, he was. I mean, you guys didn't hear most of it. We had to cut the recording and edit some of it out.
Yeah, we edited some out. Yeah. So
yeah.
So by the way, that's a joke. I did not suffer a home invasion. My roommates are still, as far as I know, alive. But on a serious note, there was a lot more personal stuff in that episode, which was pretty interesting. And then there was some other, standard behind the scenes stuff in terms of the podcast, sponsorships, things like that. But I enjoyed both of those episodes. They are now live for our patrons. You guys can go listen to them. What did you think about
I thought they were good. Yeah, BTS was different than most of them, and the Urzikstan ranked was good. Yeah, there's some things I'm a little worried about for ranked, but we talked about it. Kind of talked about the squad sizes, possibly what we could get or what we could be getting, what we want to see. So I thought it was really good.
Yeah. There are some worries, but I think the episode was extremely productive. So yeah. And other than that, that is it. If you're listening for the jingle, here it is.
Guess I don't have to write a timestamp. We don't have any minutes.
Oh yeah. Well, write it anyway. Actually, for when I'm timestamping.
I did. I see.
You have it.
Yeah. I have a nuke. Yeah, Chris is right. Type in some words, man.
Okay. Sorry. Welcome to the show. Today, we are doing an episode. So, first section of the episode today is patch notes or changes already in effect. There were none. So really there's only one thing I'm going to move this to talk about, in terms of changes to the actual game. And that is a new aftermarket part / weekly challenge has hit the video game. So I think we're on week 4 of the weekly challenges now.
Yeah.
And every week, if you do 5 challenges, you unlock the weekly reward or whatever. And the first 3 were not super relevant, which is why we didn't really talk about them. One of them was like the chainsaw underbarrel K, and then a couple other conversion kits, which may or may not be relevant, but I haven't seen or heard anything about them. So
one was that shotgun aftermarket part, I'm pretty sure. I think that was the weekly challenge for week 2, maybe.
Oh, that's possible.
The 60 round mag, whatever it is.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I think that was week 3. I just unlocked that. I finished all my weekly challenges yesterday because I wanted to get all of that stuff. Because, by the way, as an aside, PSA, the camo you will get if you do all 8 weekly challenges before Season 3 launches is called Rotten Inferno, and it looks really cool. And it's reactive, and it will no longer be obtainable after Season 2. So, if ever, I would recommend you guys do the weekly challenges for this season. Keep up on those, because that camo is dope looking. You can go look in-game at your weekly challenges, and you'll see it. You can preview it. It looks really cool. Because normally, what you could do, if you didn't like the reward for doing all the weeks, is just wait until the next season, and then all the aftermarket parts for each week become armory unlocks, meaning it would be way faster to unlock that way. I mean, way faster, dude. Way faster. Because you could either do 5 weekly challenges, or you could get 3 armory unlock tokens for this chainsaw. I could do that in actually 3 minutes, depending on the dailies I have or whatever. Way faster to do it that way. So I think last season I did that, because the Season 2 one was a blueprint for a gun that sucks. But this season, or for Season 1, I mean, for this season though, that camo looks dope.
Is it reactive for sure? Do we know that?
I wouldn't say for sure. That's a little aggressive. I'm pretty sure though.
I think it did too. I'm just not positive. I'm trying to think. Regardless, it looked really cool.
Not reactive, but animated.
Yeah, that's what I meant too. Yeah. I hope it's animated, because it is very, very, very cool looking, and that would be an excellent one to animate. I think it is, but not remembering 100% at this point. But yeah, definitely do this season's weekly challenge. Okay, chat's saying it is animated. Yeah, I think it was. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So you can go look in game. But anyway, that's all kind of beside the point for today, which is that week 4's reward is a new optic. It is called the JAK Glassless optic. If you do 5 week 4 weekly challenges. I unlocked it. I equipped it. And I'm a pretty big fan of it. We're going to pull up an image here on screen for those of you who are watching. But for those of you who are not watching, I will do my best to describe it. It doesn't have any zoom, so it's just like a red dot, like a reflex sight. The difference is, so it's most similar to like the MK3 reflector. The difference is it is glassless. So instead of having glass, it has nothing, but there is still a little blue dot, which is also a very popular optic reticle color. People like the blue dots. I'm one of them. It's pretty easy to see in every condition. Dragon's breath, inside, outside, dark, light. You can kind of always see a red dot, or a blue dot rather. So I like that. And it's very small, which I also like for a reflex sight. The bezel is
terrible.
Yeah, well, I don't know about terrible, but it's not ideal. It's not ideal.
It's funky, man. It's really funky. I have it shown on the screen if you guys are watching the video portion, but it's like right where the dot is, there are 2 bezels, one on the left side, one on the right side. They both just go up at an angle, right? Well, if you played Advanced Warfare, it's very similar to an optic from Advanced Warfare, Infinite Warfare. I always get them mixed up. But anyways, you guys would know when you see it. And then right where the dot is, though, in the middle, there is another little piece on the side that comes up and then also curves in. So basically, you have these 2 little bezel lines coming into your field of view in the optic sight picture. So instead of glass, you have that, which is more obstructive, actually. Yeah.
Yes. Exactly. Basically, it's like a Mark III reflector, except there's no glass, but there are 2 other pieces of metal which meet at they extend vertically right to where the dot is. Mm-hmm. And then they curve in toward the dot a little bit. So they don't like touch the dot, but they do obstruct your vision a little bit in that sight picture. There's no reason for this piece. Remove it. If it didn't have that, this would be the perfect optic. But it has that, which is pretty annoying and pretty bad. So visuals only, the Mark III is absolutely better. Because
I 100% agree, yeah.
Because it does not have a bezel on top, just like this one does not have any bezel on top. So you don't lose people that are above your dot, which is really nice. But it doesn't have the stupid little extra bezel that like curves in a little bit. However, one thing that's very noteworthy and makes it probably worth using if I were on keyboard and mouse actually, no, regardless of input, it's probably worth using. Definitely on controller, because it doesn't matter if I can see or not. The pros have firing aim stability as one of the pros. But the downsides are, as far as I could remember, exactly the same as the downsides of any other red dot.
It's just ADS time, and it was like 2% or something.
Yeah, which is like the same as like a Mark III reflector.
Yeah.
So it has the same downsides as any other red dot sight, reflex sight, I should say. But the upside is you get the sight picture, obviously, but also you get firing aim stability. Now, annoyingly, if you go into gunsmith details, this is one of the few pros that don't have any numerical data in the expanded details of the gunsmith. So we don't know how much is helping the firing aim stability. But in the simplified view, it says it's helping it by 1 carat. So not that much, but it's still something. And that means I'm probably going to use this instead of a Mark III reflector on any gun that I would want to run a Mark III reflector on. I don't see a reason not to. particularly, again, because I'm on controller. If I were on K-BAM, I would still absolutely try this, replacing all my Mark III reflectors with this optic, because you get basically better recoil control for free. And I would see if the extra little bezel curve in things are worth getting firing aim stability or not worth. I have no hypothesis on this point. But for the vast majority of you who play on controller, I don't see any reason ever, if you're running a reflex, to not run this one specifically. It's free recoil control.
Yeah, if you're already running an optic.
Provided you're already running a reflex optic, correct?
Yeah, I used this morning on the MTZ 762. I liked it less than iron sights on that gun, actually. So this morning I saw a tweet from Warzone Loadout. I'm trying to see exactly what he said, but he was basically talking about how this thing's good. The new MTZ 762 with a new JAK Glassless, Jesus Christ. Optic is insane, absolute meta, blah, blah. So on his build, though, he drops the Bruin Heavy underbarrel for the optic.
That's insane.
Here's what doesn't make sense. Exactly. The Bruin Heavy is also helping with recoil control and firing aim stability. So, like, people that keep talking about the firing aim stability, yes, exactly. On this optic, it's like, okay, but if you're dropping another attachment just to run an optic that's helping with firing aim stability, you're worse off than when you started at that point, in my opinion.
Sure.
There are probably guns where this makes sense. Like you said, if there's already a gun where you're for some reason running a red dot, then yeah, it makes sense just to use this one, I guess. But at this point, there are no guns that I personally do that on. I'm either iron sights or the Corio Eagle Eye. There's not a gun that I use ever where I use an optic on it. Like that.
Yeah.
A red dot optic. That's where I'm at personally. I know some people do. So if you are that person, definitely try this out, because at that point it's just going to be better, because it does help with firing aim stability. But yeah, I think people forget one thing I notice immediately: head glitches. When somebody's on a head glitch in this game, which happens all the time, you hit way less shots than if you have iron sights. I was doing it. I was shooting people at, it was probably like 90, 100 meters. It was pretty far with the MTZ 762 iron sight. I've gotten good with the gun, and I can hit those shots relatively easily. I was hitting way fewer shots using this optic because they're on a head glitch. I'm on a head glitch mounted up. The blue dot completely disappears in the sky, and then you just don't see anything. So I couldn't hit anything. So I'm done using it. My experiment's over. That's the only gun I tried it with, but it's not some like magic attachment, no matter what people are saying on Twitter, that you should drop some sort of recoil attachment just to put on your gun. It's not that good at all. Don't fall for it. If you're running an optic or anyways, like I said, go ahead, run it. But the MTZ gets strictly worse dropping the Bruin Heavy underbarrel for that optic. That's bad advice, and I would not recommend doing that.
Yeah, that seems so insane to me that it didn't even occur to me to mention that.
That's why I had to try it, because I'm like, well, I know this is incorrect completely, but I want to try it just to confirm so I can say that.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe you do like optics better. Maybe you think you can track better that way, but I'm on K-BAM where you do have to, where tracking is more important at long range, and I tracked way easier using the MTZ iron sights than I did with this optic personally. But it's nice having the optic for closer range engagements for sure, like say within 25, 30 meters, I would take an optic, but most of the time my engagements are a little bit longer than that, where I think I'm more accurate with the iron sight on that specific gun. Again, I've only tried it on the MTZ 762, so.
Yeah. So yeah, this is absolutely not a magical attachment. I am once again astounded by the low IQ of many Call of Duty content creators, who are, they do not drop a freaking underbarrel for this attachment. Like, the only way this makes sense again to me is if you're using a gun and you're already using a reflex, change it to this, try it, and it's probably better. Unless you really can't abide its bezel. That's the only use case I see for it. So for like like in Warzone right now, as Tanner said, based on the meta right now, I am not using a reflex on any gun in Warzone ever. So this will not see use from me in Warzone. In multiplayer, though, I really like running reflex sights on a lot of guns.
Yeah, that's true.
So like for multiplayer, if I was like playing that a lot, this would become relevant. And then also as new guns get released and metas shift, so even if current guns get buffed or nerfed or whatever, it is the case sometimes that there are guns with such bad iron sights that you have to run an optic on them.
Yeah.
But then they also have too much recoil to use an eagle eye on, and therefore this is the optic I would use in that case. So for example, from the Verdansk days, I don't know if you guys remember, one of the DLC guns that got added was the AN-94. Now this gun was never meta, but it was a gun that you could use in multiplayer, for example. And it was pretty good in multiplayer, actually. It was just terrible in Warzone. But in multiplayer, it had the worst iron sights of any gun I've used in a first-person shooter game, by far.
Wait, which gun?
The AN-94.
Oh. Yeah, those aren't great.
Yeah, it was like a joke how bad they were. So you literally had to run an optic on that gun. Like, you couldn't use it with iron sights. Not even on controller could you. Your whole screen was like whatever camo color you had. It was a joke. So like that would be a gun where I would again run like a reflex optic. But there might be guns that in Warzone, like particularly Fortune's Keep, Ranked Resurgence, where I don't want an eagle's eye, but this gun I'm using, the new meta gun, the AK-88 that they just released and made up, it's like a really good gun, but the iron sights are unusable. And it has too much recoil to put an eagle eye on.
Yeah.
What are you going to do in that case? Boom, this attachment. So it's not really relevant right now for Warzone, but I think it is very possible. And for SMGs also, there are some SMGs that are really, really good, or they might get released and become really, really good, or some might get buffed that are really, really good, but the iron sights are absolutely unusable. Again, this could be relevant.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's cool. Don't drop anything other than an optic to run it. But, yeah, unlock it. And eventually you will, just without even trying because of the armory at some point.
Yeah.
But, don't forget about it when you are going to go put a reflex on at some point in the future. And it might be a while, but yeah. I think it's a cool idea for a little gun.
Yeah.
And yeah. So anyway, and that's it. That's all that's happened in terms of changes or patches or anything like that. Pretty slow week. I guess we're gearing up for Season 2 Reloaded.
Should be happening Wednesday, probably.
Yeah, should be happening Wednesday. And we'll have a lot more to say next week in terms of changes.
Yeah,
and stuff,
I fully
obviously.
expected some sort of blog post, something from them today, but we've got nothing. So maybe tomorrow. I'm trying to think if we've gotten any info on Fridays recently before a season or Season Reloaded. Seems kind of weird we didn't get anything, but they're definitely they've been saving some things for Season Reloaded, unfortunately. Like, they still haven't fixed the plate glitch where players are guaranteed to drop plates. That's been a bug that they've acknowledged for like at least 2 weeks now, maybe 3 weeks, and they still haven't fixed that. I don't know how hard that could be. I mean, generally doesn't end up being an issue because armor boxes and duffel bags and chests and everything, but kind of weird. They're like little bugs like that they still haven't fixed. So hopefully we get all that next week. And then with Season Reloaded as well. So what are the big things we're getting? We're getting the Bunker Buster kill streak, I believe, should be coming at mid-season, which we really haven't seen too much of. I'm trying to I saw a video of it. I guess we never talked about it, but I think it was a leaked video. I don't think it was like a publicly released video for like that Charlie Intel or somebody tweeted about. But I remember the very first thing I noticed is we were all kind of thinking, okay, if it takes a little while to come in and you have time to get out of the building, not a big deal. But I do remember it came in very quickly. It felt like faster than a precision airstrike, if not the same amount of time. Which means if you're in a building like on a staircase with and there are no windows around and somebody calls in a bunker buster in your building, you're probably just going to die to it all the time, unfortunately. So we'll have to see how that plays out. Little nervous about that for sure. And then Fortune's Keep ranks will probably be flooded with them. So decrease the spawn rate of counter UAVs and got rid of mosquito drones, but now we'll have maybe a little bunker buster in every box. Yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's probably some other stuff that we should expect, but we'll just go over it next week when we get the blog post and the patch notes and all that. So, today's episode is brought to you by SBMMOFF. If you're tired of these sweaty COD lobbies, then we have just the thing for you. Go to SBMMOFF.com and use code Dropshot for $5 off their lifetime VPN and geofence. You only pay once. No more monthly VPN fees. One payment and you have access to all future updates. For those of you wondering, no, a VPN is not against the terms of service. The product only works on PC. Sorry, console players. Their VPN service is a legitimate way to change your region in order to connect to servers across the globe and find easier games. We know how sweaty those evening lobbies can be after a long day at work, so why not trick the game into thinking you live in a different part of the world where it's early morning. The VPN allows you to play on local servers with low ping while the game thinks you're actually far away. When combined with the geofence, you're able to play on servers outside of your available local servers, meaning a player in North America, for example, can choose to play 100% on European servers or vice versa. It even comes with a built-in world map time zone sheet, so you can decide which server will be the best at that time. As you can see on the screen here, you have many different region options, from Argentina, Italy, Kenya, to Taiwan. The list is very extensive. These tools allow you to find easier and more varied lobbies instead of being crushed by Call of Duty's manipulative, skill-based matchmaking system. LSBMM. SBMMOFF is the only VPN and geofence service that is dedicated 100% to Call of Duty players like you. Go to SBMMOFF.com and use code Dropshot for $5 off. Once again, SBMMOFF.com. Use code Dropshot for $5 off. The big streamers can VPN. You can too. Now, moving on to news and upcoming changes. Not too much to talk about. But, hearkening back to our last episode, we got some more cheats. Or some more details on cheats.
Yeah.
To discuss. And this is yet another hot topic on the timeline. And it has been making the rounds this week. And Charlie Intel tweeted about this 2 days ago. And they said, it seems that some cheats in Warzone have become so advanced that they can turn themselves off when Ricochet starts investigating the cheat and then re-enabling them afterward once Ricochet is done investigating the cheat. And there is a picture attached.
It was a video
to this tweet, which is what I said.
Yeah.
And it is a video of a Discord chat.
Yeah.
So,
and nobody ever explained who the person was talking. The clip started going around, like 4 or 5 days ago. Charlie Intel just tweeted about 2 days ago, so I took their screenshot. But started going around a lot earlier than that, and I don't know who the person is, but I assume it's just an actual cheater, recording it and talking about it, or I don't know where it originated from, and somebody made a video. I don't really know. So if there's somebody we should be crediting for finding this, don't know who that person is. But basically,
it says from Zach Dubs.
That's just another person that also tweeted it.
Okay.
So that's what I'm saying. I don't think he's the one talking in the video. Maybe he is. I don't know, but it didn't seem like that.
Whatever.
So basically what happens is Ricochet supposedly, this is what this guy says in the video, takes random screenshots of your game when you get reported or reported often. So it kind of sounds like every single time somebody gets reported, that exact second, a screenshot is taken by Ricochet anti-cheat of that person's screen to try to catch red boxes, outlines of that person's gameplay.
Interesting.
So, I guess what he says, the cheat software has now become so advanced that it detects when a screenshot is about to happen somehow, no idea how, and it hides the cheats from your screen just long enough for Ricochet to take the screenshot and see nothing. You have to keep in mind, this is probably milliseconds. It probably gets off your screen for a number of milliseconds.
Yeah.
Hundreds of milliseconds, I don't know, but like it's not like your cheats are hidden from your own monitor for like 30 seconds while Ricochet takes a screenshot. It's like a matter of like less than a second. So it basically just flickers, right? So just long enough for Ricochet to not detect anything. So cheaters were talking about like how many screenshots cleared they had, which means how many times Ricochet takes a screenshot during a match and found nothing. So a bunch of people are like, yeah, I had like 32 cleared, 44 cleared. One person said they had over 100 screenshots cleared. So that's Ricochet is taking over 100 individual images of this guy cheating in one match and are unable to detect anything because the cheat software can turn off instantly so that it's not detected.
Wow.
It's only going to get worse. Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know Ricochet even did that. So this is, by the way, how we know that, once again, and I will beat this dead horse further until something changes. This is not a kernel level anti-cheat. Because why would a machine, a kernel level anti-cheat, need to take screenshots? Hey, it wouldn't. The purpose of taking the screenshots, obviously, is that they get sent to or put in some folder where then some guy who's a dev at Activision somewhere looks at it and says, are there red boxes? Yep. Okay, ban.
And I mean, it's probably some sort of still automated process. I would imagine there's probably some tool that they have that would be able to detect something. There's probably some human input sometimes, but I mean, there's no way some human is going through tens of thousands of screenshots every single day. But yeah, it's I don't get it. And you're starting to see a lot more talk on the TL now about wanting invasive anti-cheats. I've been seeing a lot of those tweets the last few days. Everyone's just like, please invade the hell out of my privacy. I do not care. Have this anti-cheat running every second it's on my PC.
Yeah. I would yeah, we've been on record saying that for sure. Yeah. I don't know why a program would need to take screenshots for itself. That's what I don't understand. So, I don't know. You could be right, I guess, but it's like it takes screenshots for itself and then analyzes them themselves later.
Ben says kernel level access is what allows them to capture the full screen, including any overlay from another program. So like the difference, like we talked about already with like Valorant's anti-cheat, it always runs. When your computer is on, it's running. That's how people get around this anti-cheat, is it doesn't start running until you launch your game, which is why they load up their cheats on a thumb drive before they launch the game and then somehow stay undetected that way.
Because they unplug the thumb drive before they launch Call of Duty.
And Call of Duty can't identify that there's some program running on their PC, which is also, if I'm not mistaken, that's what kernel level is. It knows what programs are running on your computer at that time, I'm pretty sure, and somehow it can't see it when you unplug the thumb drive. I don't know for sure, but I think that's how it works.
Yeah, it's all weird. But yeah, that's cheaters are evolving. That's pretty wild. I mean, I have nothing to say about this. I don't know. One good thing is that Activision has definitely seen all these tweets going around. Yeah. So if Team Ricochet is now aware that cheat softwares are turning themselves off before the screenshots happen, they are working on getting around that. So
yeah, this is actually good that this is going around, because
now they know
they can do something about it. Probably, yeah, that's true. It will probably take a little while, but they'll find some sort of workaround, and then a week or two later, the cheat provider will find some sort of work around that Ricochet patch. So
some other
that's how
thing,
it works. Yeah.
Yep, that's how it always works. So yeah. This is just another reason why the cheats have probably been so bad lately. Is who knows how long the cheat softwares have been doing this without Ricochet's knowledge.
Yeah.
Could have been for the last month. So like, yeah, all these people were just getting around getting banned, and Ricochet didn't know why. No one knew why. They just knew that there were cheaters in every lobby they played because it's obvious. So yeah, there you go. Anyway, moving on now to our last thing today, which is tangentially related to this podcast. Call of Duty Warzone Mobile. I have seen far too much on the timeline about this, and I don't know why anyone I follow cares. So Call of Duty Mobile, Warzone Mobile, is going to be launching worldwide on March 21st. And on the 28th, yesterday of February, Call of Duty made a blog post about it. Now, this podcast is not about mobile games. We don't cover Candy Crush, we don't cover Angry Birds, and we don't cover Warzone Mobile. So we're not going to talk about this in any great detail, but we will go over it a little bit just because for some reason, a lot of actual Warzone streamers who play on $8,000 PCs are excited about this, or at least have some other things to say about it. So yeah, Warzone Mobile's getting Verdansk. They're getting Rebirth Island, and apparently reviews look pretty good for it.
We're getting multiplayer maps too, which I'm a little confused about because it's Warzone Mobile, but there will be like Shipment, Shoot House, and other multiplayer modes as well. But there are some interesting things with it, mostly being that there is shared progression with Warzone. This is, I think, why it's getting so much publicity.
That kind of
shared
makes sense,
everything. Shared battle pass, shared skins, shared account. Obviously, every single thing is shared between the two. So if you're level 300 and you go on vacation to the Bahamas, you can play on your iPad, which they also use controllers on those. Now they have these controllers and items for them.
Controllers are supported also.
Yeah.
Officially supported.
So you can be playing on your iPad on the beach, playing Warzone Mobile and leveling up. So then when you get back, you'll be level 350 when you get back to your PC. But the main reasons it's getting so much publicity is because, well, one, they've been talking about it for 2 years and it's finally coming out. And two, it's because it's getting Verdansk, so everyone's real excited about that. So yeah, player level, player XP transfers seamlessly to Warzone and MW3 and vice versa. The next super interesting and also hilarious part, let me find it. Verdansk! Oh, I'm not showing this. I thought I was showing the notes the whole time. Verdansk, Battle Royale. Warzone Mobile gets a higher player count than Warzone on console and PC. 120 players.
Oh,
okay, baby. All right. Very cool, man.
Yep.
A higher player count. Awesome.
Yeah. That is good. And makes sense.
Oh, yeah. The game actually looks good. Here's a screenshot. Mobile games have gotten kind of wild, dude.
That looks that looks like PS2, PS3 maybe.
It
graphics.
Looks pretty good, yeah.
Yeah.
It basically looks like Verdansk, but there is no clutter or detail. So where there were bushes, there are no bushes. Where there's a pile of trash, there was no pile of trash there. But everything else is the same. And
also, as an aside, the visibility is better on this than it ever was in Verdansk.
It is perfect.
Actually.
Yeah.
Like, I can see so well and clearly all the people on the map. Yeah.
Yep. So you're getting that. Cool. Here's a nice little image of Rebirth Island. Rebirth is quite a bit different. Right? This is... What am I looking at here? I am confused. No, it's just taken from an angle I wasn't thinking of. Yeah, never mind. I was thinking it was taken from the control center side. I get it. So yeah, there's Rebirth. That's cool. It was mostly just the 120 player thing, though. That's what everyone was talking about. Like, really, Warzone Mobile is getting 120 players and BR on, like you just said, an $8,000 PC. we don't get 120 players. Okay.
Yep.
So a lot of people are excited for this. So March 21st is when it's launching. But yeah, it looks cool from these screenshots. Let's be clear. I'll never, ever, ever play a mobile game. But a lot of people do. It will be the most popular Call of Duty title for sure. Mobile games are way more popular because anybody can play them because most people have a cellular device.
Yeah. And also, yeah, there will be multiplayer. So it's going to have multiplayer maps included but not limited to Shipment, Shoot House, and Scrapyard. And you could play like TDM, Dom, Kill Confirm, Search. You can play hardcore as well.
Hardcore, yeah.
Which is insane. And the reason that any of this is relevant, Tanner's right, is that cross progression is enabled on this. So you can log into Warzone Mobile with your Activision account. And yeah, if you like go on vacation or, you know, you're lying in bed and you can't fall asleep or whatever, you can like play a match of Shipment and level up your BP50 or work on camos for your BP50 on COD Mobile. And you can use a controller on it. So you can, I don't know exactly how that works. I don't know if you can use like the same controller that you use on PC.
No, they're like specific controller devices that they have. I think that's what I've seen at least. I don't think you can just use like an Xbox or PlayStation controller somehow. It's like a specific mobile controllers are made.
Okay. Yeah. But still, I mean, pretty cool. Like if I was going to go on, you know, vacation for a week or something, and I really wanted to have something to do and like whatever, in the downtime, and I have an iPad or something, I'd buy a little iPad controller. And then at night when you're like just kind of chilling, instead of, I don't know, what you do in a hotel, like get some on-demand movie. Instead of that, I would have more fun. Yeah. Plug in my iPad to the wall so my battery doesn't die instantly. That's one problem with mobile games. And then use my controller and just like grind some camos.
Yeah.
That's like actually pretty cool. And then when you get home, you can have, you know, Interstellar unlocked, which I have, by the way.
That's first mobile only Interstellar? Actually. Who's going to get that?
Yeah, that's a good question. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And yeah, because there's multiplayer, you can like grind camos easily. I personally think that's the most attractive feature. I'm still not, I don't leave my house, so it doesn't matter for me. But even if I did, I wouldn't be a mobile player. But it is cool. And then the Warzone Mobile as well. I guess you could level things there also. But that would mainly just be for fun if you already have Interstellar and you go on vacation or something. But still a good way to like, you know, kind of kill time. Yeah. Or here at some like business conference or something. I think it's kind of cool, but yeah, for like most of you listening, it's not really relevant and who cares. But as Tanner said, there are a lot of people who have a cell phone and they can afford that, but they can't afford, you know, a console or a PC or something. Yeah. And now they have, they can play Call of Duty. So yeah, pretty cool.
Couple of things from chat. Somebody's saying supposedly any Bluetooth controller would work. That's insane if true.
Can you imagine using a SCUF with like your dead zones all dialed in? Yeah, you have your Control Freak on it. Yeah.
And then somebody else
around. Meanwhile, there's like some 7-year-old Indonesian kid who's like just tapping the iPad like to try and kill people, like trying to like frag you.
And his screens and hands are so dirty because he's like working and he has a full-time job at 8 years old. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And his battery's about to die and he just wants to get one kill before he has to go back to the mines.
Yeah.
And he just can't do it because you're just slide canceling on him with a SCUF.
He deserves it if he can't own a SCUF.
Bedroom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just on the beach with a Mai Tai playing with your SCUF and this little Indonesian kid. Oh, that's sad, man.
It is sad, yeah.
And that cheater video, I guess, was made by a guy on YouTube, Nuke Jesus, by the way. Okay, change it.
Got it. Yeah, change it.
But anyways, shout out to Indonesian kids. Last thing here, breaking. Activision-owned studio, the fan-favorite studio, Toys for Bob, Trinkets for Robert, is becoming an independent studio.
Wow.
They are ending support for Crash Team Rumble. Here's what they say. Over the years, we've inspired love, joy, and laughter for the inner child in all gamers. Okay. We pioneered new IP and hardware technologies in Skylanders. I'm bored.
Yeah.
We believe that now is the time to take the studio and our future games to the next level. This opportunity allows us to return to our roots of being a small and a nimble studio. To make this news even more exciting, we're exploring a possible partnership between our new studio and Microsoft. And while we're in the early days of developing our next new game and a ways away from making any announcements, our team is excited to develop new stories, characters, and gameplay. Our friends at Activision and Microsoft have been extremely supportive of the new direction, and we're confident that we continue to work closely together. So basically what happened was people are thinking Microsoft was basically like, oh, you guys are useless. We are shutting you down. But then they were like, well, hold on. We don't even want to work on Call of Duty. Activision was just making us help. We don't want to work on Call of Duty. How about you just let us go so we can retain our studio? You don't shut down the studio. And we can work on whatever we want, and we won't be involved in COD anymore. So they were like, okay, that's fine. You guys can leave. So that's what happened. And then, like they said, now they're looking at forming a new partnership with Microsoft to probably work on their specific type of game that they're designing. Because, again, it's like Crash Bandicoot, Spyro Reignited, Skylanders. The only game I've heard of there is Crash Bandicoot. So, but they've been helping on Call of Duty on Warzone for a few years now. Like, they've been helping on the maps, things like that. So they've been a very small support studio, and they are done. 07s go out to Toys for Robert.
Yeah. So this was one of the very small studios that was helping with Call of Duty. So the impact will be non-existent.
Toys for Bob. Yeah.
You won't notice or anything, but yeah. So a lot of people again, an outsized number of people were talking about this on Twitter, probably because nothing's happened in Call of Duty for the last week. So they had to tweet something. So this got some attention, but yeah, F's in the chat for Toys for Bob. There were other things, by the way, that I considered putting in our notes today, but didn't. Like, what was it? EA is going to be laying off like 5% of its employees.
EA laid off a bunch. PlayStation laid off a bunch. Rockstar is making all their employees go back to the office as they finish up Grand Theft Auto, basically. Yeah, there's a lot of more drama in the dev scene.
Yeah, and the reason I bring that up is because, like we talked about when we originally covered the like QA teams getting laid off and a bunch of other people after the Microsoft acquisition of Activision, it's not like Activision did layoffs or Microsoft did layoffs because they're uniquely evil or something. This is happening all over this industry. And again, my hypothesis is that the reason for that is because they needed a lot of extra people when COVID happened, because working from home is less efficient. So when they sent all their employees home, they weren't getting as much work done. So that was one reason they needed more people. So they hired a bunch. And then also more people were gaming as well. So the demand for video game employees in any kind of arena was also higher because the consumer base was way higher. So that's another reason they hired a bunch of employees. And now that that's all done, the COVID thing's pretty much over. They have just too many employees, more than they need.
Yeah.
So there are a bunch of layoffs. So it's not like
too much hiring.
Uniquely Activision is bad or Microsoft is evil or whatever. This is happening all over, and it's not a surprise. And this is just one other kind of consequence of that. So, yeah. Last thing here I want to talk about is David Vonderhaar, the creator of the patented Vundibop from BO4 and maybe other games. Join the Discord, join the Patreon, and I'll tell you what a Vundibop is, by the way. But David Vonderhaar, the former head or studio head of Treyarch Game Studios, left Treyarch a couple months ago to a very big, and there was a very big hubbub about it. There's a lot of hoopla. A lot of people were like, F's in the chat for Vundy.
COD is dead.
We love Vundy. COD is dead. Treyarch's dead. Whatever. So he left, and he said, like, I'm not like retiring or anything, but I am leaving Treyarch. And he started his own. The thought was he's going to start his own dev studio. And yesterday, he announced that he did. And it is called Bullet Farm. Okay. So there's a tweet here he made yesterday from Vundy. We've started a new game studio called Bullet Farm. Many thanks to those who took the time to put the pieces together over these past 3 days. Which is a weird thing to say because it implies they made a dev studio in 3 days. I guess he means like the website or the images or whatever. The website,
yeah. It was the website.
But there's like a little image of the tweet, and it's like Bullet Farm, and I'm not going to describe it, but also links to a website. Organically Hardcore. So right now, there's nothing about the games they're going to be making, I don't think.
There's just a little bit of info.
But it's going to be like an FPS game studio. Bullet Farm is a new game studio that seeks to redefine what it means to make and play AAA action-adventure experiences, which implies to me they're not going to be super PvP focused. Because action-adventure games are usually not like online multiplayer games. At least that's not their primary focus.
I think they literally said they're making single-player games, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So, we believe gameplay should come with the game, not battle passes. That's one of the things they say in their mission statement, which is pretty funny. So, yeah. If you were wondering what, Vundy is up to, it's this. It's a cool little website, bulletfarm.com, but don't expect a video game out of this studio for another at least 3 years.
Yeah, I was going to say probably 5. Longer. Yeah.
And it's not going to be like COD. It's not going to be a online multiplayer heavy game. It's probably why Vundy left COD, because he wants to do games that are very much not like that. It's going to be an action adventure shooter. Think like The Last of Us.
Yeah.
That kind of game.
I like the imagery here. It's like Red Dead 2 vibes.
Yeah. And it says on their homepage, organically hardcore. So maybe they'll be like difficult or something.
And its little logo is like a little revolver cylinder, like pointing at you. So it's cute, man. Looks kind of cool. Organically hardcore. See if they say anything else. Headquartered in Los Angeles. Yeah, no, that's it. They're hiring devs if anyone listens and is a game dev. So there we go. Go apply.
Yeah. So,
Bullet Farm.
Cool. But yeah, nothing else to really say on this topic. I know that Vundy was a very popular, probably the most popular like Activision employee across all of the COD fan base. I don't think anyone had got love like Vundy did. The development head for Treyarch.
He got a lot of love. I will never forgive him though for saying something before Cold War came out when he was like, "Can't wait for you guys to see what we've been working on. It's gonna blow your minds." And then we got Cold War in launch state.
It's gonna blow my hard drive.
Okay, baby. I want to find that tweet so bad. God.
Yeah.
Man, he lied. Yeah. But anyways.
He was cooking, but it wasn't anything good.
And then he even had a tweet after, and he was basically like, "Sorry, guys. I guess it didn't live up to the hype or something." It was really funny. He like apologized. Oh, it was so funny.
Yeah, for sure. Stay humble.
Is that what we're doing? Stay humble.